Hi, this is Chad Steinkamp of Northern Country Co-op, and today we're going to check out our spring conditions. We're out here in a field just north of Stacyville, Iowa, and it does not feel like it's April 14th. It feels more like the end of October, 1st of November. So we've had a lot of calls here the last few days. When should I start planting corn? The insurance state says I can plant corn, but should I be planting corn? We got to take a look at what the soil conditions are. We look in two areas. We look at our soil temperature and how the soil actually looks itself. So you can kind of see we're not that warm. The last few nights we've dipped under the freezing mark, which is, you know, a little bit less than what we'd like to see at this time of year, and way less than what it was a week or so ago. We've kind of turned back to where we usually are for April in this area. So we're just teetering in that 40 to 45 range, and that is pretty close to what Iowa State has seen here the last couple days. I think last night from Mitchell County, we were at about 44, 45, and just a few nights ago it was in the mid-50, or it was closer to 50. So we are probably trending in the wrong direction to plant corn at this point, but that doesn't mean there is a few guys trying it. But the reason why you do see some guys trying it is we do have actually really nice soil conditions. You can see on the top here, it's graying off really nice, and down low, we are talking some nice mellow dirt. It is a little sticky, as you can kind of see on my fingers. It's not really balling up too bad, so we're not seeing that big mud ball that we normally see. Our ground conditions are sitting pretty decent, probably teetering on the dry side of things at this moment. So just to see where we're at, where that seed's going to go in that 2 to 2.5 inch range, depending on what we're going with. You know, it's not too muddy or anything like that, so that's a good sign for planting, but it's cold, and I think it's going to be a few days before we're able to get out here. Some of the things that will affect how cold the ground is what crop was out here before. This is a bean field that had anhydrous ammonia put on last fall. Corn on corn tends to be a couple degrees colder than this here, just because of the extra trash, depending on if there's more trash or less trash out there. Plowing will be a little warmer because just the trash will reflect and reflect sunshine and hold moisture, which will make things a lot colder. And so your no-till acres and your cover crop acres will definitely tend to be a little colder. So what we're shooting for critical numbers for corn plants for this time of year is we're talking about 50 degrees for soil temperatures, and we got a little ways to go for that. But does that mean I gotta wait for planting or not? I would probably wait a little bit. We're talking about probably another 5 to 10 days of similar weather that we're dealing with right now. So it's going to be a little bit before we have some nicer weather. By the end of next week, they're talking a little bit better. We're not talking much for moisture at that point, so that's probably a decent thing, but we want to make sure that these temperatures are starting to go up. I don't mind planting in cold soil here, as long as the temperature, the 10-day, looks like it's starting to improve. If we don't, and if we jump the gun a little bit, we can open ourselves up to inhibitional chilling on corn, and that is not a good day for anybody. What happens there is the seeds get confused of which way they need to grow, and they kind of corkscrew inside the ground and don't make it towards the surface. That can reduce stands very quickly. The other thing we can have is diseases kind of stepping in at that point. And the other thing is, and finally, is fertility. Colder ground, sometimes the phosphorus isn't as available because we need some warmth and heat to kind of make that stuff a little bit more readily available for our plants. So we got to take all those things into account. Last thing on this thing, when we come to soil prep for seed prep and whatnot, we want to make sure this is right the first time. We only get one chance of making sure we have a good stand, and it doesn't matter if it's $2 corn or $7 corn, we got to make sure that we start out right. And the quickest way to make sure that we're step on the right foot is to make sure that our soil prep and our seeding is done properly. So last thing before I go, we are going to go take a look at some other fields. We got a couple guys in the area that's got some corn on corn and some cover and some no-till. We're going to take these samples with this temperature probe, and we'll post them on our Facebook page. And to get that information from us, the best way to do is to follow us on our various social media platforms, our Facebook page, our Twitter page, and follow us on YouTube as well. Lastly, and I almost forgot, our podcast, the Ag Update with Brady and myself. Every other week we'll post on there. Otherwise, if you got any other questions, give me or one of the other Northern Country agronomists a call, and you have a great day. Stay warm. It's freezing out here.